Here's a good example of a retail infill development project that's going on right now. We are on a parcel of property that was initially a vacant parcel of land surrounding office and multifamily properties that have been developed over the last number of years. We'll go by the multifamily here in a second. If you're listening to this and not watching, I'm driving by a series of retail strip centers that are being developed. And as you can see, it's a pretty simplistic process. It's vacant land. You come in here, you do a little bit of site work, you put in some curb and gutter, and you build some shell buildings to bring in restaurants, retailers, things like that, where you'd see at Starbucks, Chipotle. There's a Tijuana Flats over here, things like that. It's shell construction is what this is called in retail. And as you can see right now where it's at, basically it's slabs, brick, roof. They're waiting on the storefront glass. It's a very simplistic type of construction. We're going to flip the camera around here so you can kind of see what's going on here and check out the site. You can see our silt fence down here, and you can see the curb and gutter that gets put in well ahead of the development being finished and before obviously the blacktop goes down. You want to put in all your curb and gutter and dumpster pads, get all your concrete work done after the site's been graded out, and your storm water controls have been put into place so that the site will drain while you're building it and all of the water is diverted. And over here you can see the apartments that are surrounding this. So commercial strip centers are still a great opportunity for infill development out there. It's a relatively easy product to get into, to development to get into, because it's pretty quick, pretty straightforward, not a lot of complexity to it. It's basically site work, slab, and steel and brick, or steel and drive it, stucco construction, or siding, depending on where you're at, what type of building you're building. Not a whole lot to it. Generally, you can build some strip centers for about $150 a square foot. And then based on what you think your values are on the back end, you just reverse engineer everything, calculate out what your gross rents are going to be, and back out your cost of the debt service and your operations. Retail strip centers are pretty easy to operate, not a whole lot of expenses there. General utilities, maintenance, things like that. That you have, property management if you're using a third-party manager. But it's another example of an infill development project that's a pretty straightforward, easy thing to get into. You can do these things for a couple $1,000,000, and generally they're going to be worth about 3 or 4 million at the end of the day if you have some good credit tenants in place.